Hello students, myself Rajkumar Rajoria, Assistant Professor and Assistant Head of Electronics and Communication Department. I am presenting a topic from microprocessor and its application. So this topic is focused on exploring some silent features of advanced microprocessor. So first of all, we have discussed some outlines. So the very first topic is the prerequisite of this topic. So in this section we have to discuss the prerequisite information or knowledge to study before this subject, and in the next we have discussed some real life examples of that involve microprocessor or microcontrollers. Next one, what is the microprocessor? So there are some definition or some outlines of microprocessor. Next, the overview of a simple microcontroller or a microcomputer. So in this section we have discussed the microcomputer system at a block level. So different block diagram we have discussed. After that, some exercises and we have to discuss some learning outcome, research scope and references. So first let's have some prerequisite of topics. So you have to study the concept of digital electronics. So all of you are expected to be familiar with the concept of digital electronics. So in this section you have to know about the digital number system, binary, hexadecimal, octal and other ASCII character. After that you have to know about the digital arithmetic. So how digital arithmetic can be performed, whether the addition, multiplication, division, subtraction. Next, you are expecting to know about Boolean algebra, so you will be familiar whether A is added with a complement that results 0 and many more. Next, you have to understand digital logic design. So that means you have to know the logic gate functionality and logic or logic exclusive or logic NOR and other type of logics circuitry. Basically you have to understand the combinational logic. And next one, the digital logic families. So digital logic family means you have to familiar towards CMOS chip, TTL chip and other type of digital chips. And also you have to know some basic electronic principles, so that will help to grasp this subject. Next one, some real life examples. So all of you are familiar with calculator. So simple commercial calculator or scientific calculators. All of calculators consisting of some arithmetic and logical unit that can perform arithmetic operation like addition, multiplication, division, subtraction, or some scientific functions just like sin x, cosine x, and log, antilog. Next, all of you familiar with video games. So in video game, still image is processed at very fast rate, and this processing will be performed by some processor which is efficient in digital signal processing. Next one, you are familiar with mobile phones. So there are two kinds of mobile phone. One is dedicated for communication only, and one is dedicated for data and voice communication both. So first one is simple mobile phone, the second one is smartphone. Both type of mobile phone consisting of processors, basically ARM processors. Next, the smart gadget you have wear, just like a smartwatch or health band. Next, the robots. So all you are familiar, the basic robot to some advanced robot used in different industrial sectors. So all these robots are controlled by processors, and of course you have to familiar with computers. So without the computer you cannot work in today's life. So computer consisting of processors. Next, the printers. Printer also consisting of processors that make the printing in color, on monochrome, or multiple types just like inkjet. And also you have familiar with Xerox machine. So Xerox machine is consisting of one scanner part and one printing part. So Xerox machine is a combination of basically scanner and printer. So all of these devices are consisting of processors and driven by the processor and programming efficiently. So let's focus on the topic. So what is the microprocessor? So the microprocessor is an electronic chip that functions as the central processing unit of a computer. So in other words, microprocessor is the brain or heart of any computer system that's driving the entire system. So today microprocessor can be found in almost consumer electronic devices. So all we have discussed, just I am adding some microwave oven, fully automatic washing machine, fax machine, and advanced applications such as radar system, satellite system, and flights. So you cannot imagine some intelligent gadget or some intelligent system without the microprocessor. So typically basic microprocessor chip have an arithmetic and logical function unit with the associated control logic to process the instruction. So almost all the microprocessor uses the basic concept of stored program execution. That means the program is stored in memory and processor is read the program by one line by line, that means instruction by instruction, and execute all of them accordingly and function accordingly. So this program or instruction to be executed by the microprocessor are stored sequentially in the memory location. So because memory chip have multiple memory location, so memory has some addresses and microprocessor reads these addresses in sequential manner and executed. So microprocessor fetches the instruction one after another and executed them in its arithmetic and logical. So ALU or arithmetical logical unit is the functional block in which all processings are done, whether the instruction is an arithmetic operation or some logical operation. So all the microprocessor have built-in memory access and management part as well as some amount of the memory. Why? Because the instructions are stored in the memory and read by microprocessor, and instruction or program are stored in secondary memory in passive stage whenever the computer is off. So memory is an important part of processor. So all microprocessor have a memory access and management section. So now this is a simple microcomputer block diagram consisting of 5 blocks. Input, you can imagine this as a keyboard. So IO port where the keyboard is connected, CPU control the entire operation and consisting of ALU, and memory. So your inputted data is stored in the memory, or program is also stored at a memory in program memory. So memory consisting of 2 parts mainly. One part is the program memory in which the machine code or instruction are stored, and second part in which the data, whether the input data or output data, is to be stored. And from this memory and through IO port we can display the result at the output device. So you can imagine this as a monitor. So major part of the central processing unit or CPU, major parts CPU, memory, and input and output circuitry. So connecting these parts together are 3 sets of parallel line called the buses. So what is the buses? Buses are the parallel line, so parallel communication line. So these can be classified in 3 categories. One is address bus, which carrying the addresses only. Second one is the data bus, which can carry the data only, and third one is the control bus, which is carrying the control signals. So let's elaborate each block. So first one is the memory. The memory section usually consisting of a mixture of RAM and ROM. So RAM here is read-only memory, read random access memory, and ROM here is read-only memory. So it may also have a magnetic floppy disk or magnetic hard disk or laser optical disk, that is the ROM. So memory has two purposes. The first purpose is to the binary code for the sequence of instruction, that means the program. So first one is the to store the program. Second one to store the program or data after the computer going off. So next section, the input output. The input or output section allows the computer to take in the data from the outside world and send the data to the outside world, just like a keyboard as an input and monitor as output. So all these two devices are allowed to user to interact with the computer, and the actual physical device used to interface these two devices is called ports, input or. Next, the CPU. So the central processing unit or CPU that controls the entire operation of the computer. How it works? It fetches the binary coded instruction, that means the machine code of instruction, which is stored in memory. So fetches from there and decoded the instruction into series of simple actions. So decode that machine coded instruction into simple action, that means it converts the instruction into equivalent hardware signals and obviously carry out those required actions. Next, the CPU contains an arithmetic logical unit or ALU, which can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, OR operation, AND operation, inversion, XOR operation, greater than, lower than, that means comparing of operation on the binary data or binary word whenever instruction to do so. Next, the CPU also contains as an address counter, which is used to hold the address of next instruction or data to be fetched from memory. So this is the address which is executed at next. So this address counter is hold the instruction, hold the address of this instruction. So this is a general purpose register which work as a program counter, and some general purpose register also which is used for temporary storage of binary data, and some circuitry which generates the control bus signals, that is control unit. So these all sections are connected to the three types of buses: address bus, data bus, and control bus. So the buses are simply multiple parallel wires which carry specific signals. So first of all, address bus. So address bus consists of 16, 20, 24 or more parallel signal lines. On this line, the CPU sends the addresses of memory location, that is to be write or read. So these are simply parallel signal wires, maybe 16, 20 or 24, for carrying the address of memory location, which is to be read or write. So the number of address line determine the number of memory location that the CPU can actually address. So if the CPU has an address line, then it can directly address up 2 to the power n memory location. For example, if a CPU has only 4 wire address line, so that CPU can address only the 16 addresses, that is 2 to the power 4. Next category, that is data bus. So data bus is used to carrying the data from outer side to CPU and from CPU to outer side. So the data bus are bidirectional in nature. The data bus consists of 8, 16, 32 or more parallel signal lines, as indicated by double-ended arrow on the data bus line. The data bus lines are bidirectional. This means that CPU can read data on these lines from the memory or from a port, as well as send data out on these lines to the memory location or to the port. So the data bus are bidirectional in nature. Many devices in a system will have their output connected to the data bus, but outputs of only one device at a time will be enabled. Next category in this bus, that is control bus. So basically control bus is used to carrying the control signal that is generated from CPU. So the control bus consisting of 4 to 10 parallel signal lines. The CPU send out signals on the control bus to enable the output of address memory devices or port devices. So basically on this line, the control signal for enabling the addressed memory or addressed port, enable or disable. So typical control bus signals are memory read, that is signal for command signal for reading the memory, memory write, that is writing command for the writing signal for the memory, IO read and IO write. To read a byte of data from memory location, for example, CPU send out the addresses of desired byte on the address bus and then send out the memory read signal on the control bus. So first address is reached to that device and then the control signal. So this is all over the bus of the microcomputer. So again a simple microcontroller block diagram. So that is connected now through the bus. So data bus, that is bidirectional, address bus unidirectional, and control bus bidirectional. Memory bidirectional address bus and connected to address bus, control bus with all input output. So this is the data bus, address bus, control bus. These are all connected through these three bus, and in this diagram this bus are shows as a wire. So address bus, that is 4-bit bus, A0, A1, A2, A3, that is 4-bit. Next data bus, that is again 4-bit, so D0, D1, D2, D3. So notation for address bus, that is A for address bus and D for data bus. Now control bus, that is C. So there are three lines, so C0, C1 and C2, 3-bit. So all are connected parallelly through these lines as bus, so that any one section can be individually enabled or disabled and carrying the data addresses on simultaneously. Now exercise 1. So let's have some exercise. So in the computer memory is used to first one, store the program. So please cast your vote on the screen. So the first one is store the program, second one is the run the program, and third one is the load the program, fourth one is read the program. So please take your answer on the screen. Now exercise 2, that is data bus is used to store the data, run the data, carry the data and edit the data. Next exercise 3, address bus is used to store the address, run the address, copy the address and carry the addresses. Please answer your vote. Now exercise 4, that is control bus is used to execute the control signal, carry the control signal, store the control signal and copy the control signal. So please answer on your screen. So this lecture all done. So the learning outcome of this lecture. So 8086 is a 16-bit microprocessor. It has 16-bit data bus, so that read 16-bit data from memory or IO or 8-bit at a time. It has 20-bit address bus and can address up to 2 to the power 20 of memory location, so that is approximately 1 megabyte. 8086 can support up 2 to the power 16 IO ports, that is the 65,536 or 64 kilobyte of IO ports. 8086 can provide 14 or 16. 8086 can provide total 14 register, each of length 16-bit. 8086 has multiplexed address and data bus. So notation for this is AD0 to AD15 and 4 lines are separate, A16 to A19, that is dedicated for address only. 8086 required single phase clock with 33 duty cycle minimum for providing internal timing. 8086 prefetch up to 6 instruction bytes from memory and tune them in order to speed up the processing. And 8086 supports 2 operating mode, that is mode of operation. Minimum mode in which the system has only single processor, and the maximum mode in which the system has multiple processors. Research scope. So first one is a try to develop your own model of computing. Second one, you can modify the functionality of buses. So increase or decrease the number of and try to change the nature. Just model only. In programming, some research scope also in programming model of computer. So you can create a different programming model for the computer. The research scope also is possible in an input device for the computers who try to make or design at least and different input device for the computer and same for the output device for the computer. So these are some research scope. So references, the first one is the advanced microcontroller processor and peripherals, that is written by A.K. Ray and K.M. Borshendi, that is published on Tata McGraw-Hill. Second one, microprocessor interfacing by D.B. Hall, which is publication of McGraw-Hill again. Next, the Intel microprocessor, that is written by Barry B. Beret, that is from Pearson publication. And you can study also from Wikipedia from in Hindi and English, both languages. So these are some references. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.